All right, welcome back to the boys of 161st Street. Not great. This is their game one reaction from ALCS. We're recording this on Thursday morning. Last night we didn't have quite the fight in us to record, much like the Yankees last night. Once Verlander started cooking, because he retired like 16 in a row at some point, or the combined him and whoever the fuck came in after him. That was just. It was
tied
good.
Its own record for most consecutive strikeouts in a row
with
in
six in a row, and then the Yankees themselves didn't strike anybody out until the sixth inning. Not good. A lot of questions in this game. We'll get into all that. But before we get into that, how are we feeling just for the rest of the series? Because I know people are going to say and should say, and we said before this series, this is probably the game we were going to lose anyway. Whenever you look at the playoff series, you like to circle the game that you'd probably lose, and it was going to be the Verlander versus Tyone game coming into town off no rest. So I just don't like. I know that's true. But
that's the thing. They got their Verlander win. We had low expectations for game one, but we found ourselves in a tie game in the middle innings, and that was a very winnable game. They didn't beat us. We lost last night. Like, there's a difference between those two things, and Tyone did as good as he could have, and then we, could not put that on ball. I don't think they hit a breaking ball all game. And it was what we said, more strikeouts than balls in play. And you got to believe that if you can put even half of those strikeouts into play at some point, it could manufacture some sort of hit, run, whatever. I know a ground ball to third is the same as a strikeout, but if you put the ball in play, at least you have a chance of getting a goddamn hit. And they didn't walk tremendous amount either. 2 walks? So it's the strikeouts that killed us, and then bad pitching, bullpen management also, in my opinion. But
we'll get into that. But
literally
17 out of 27 outs were strikeouts.
It's a winnable game. That's the problem. That's why I'm upset today.
Especially the fact that 3 out of the 4 runs were solo shots from the Astros.
Yep.
I don't know. I think that's most frustrating. That's so frustrating.
And all of those home runs, if I'm not mistaken, came off a pitcher who didn't need to be in the game. Meaning, it's not like they came in a clean inning, allowed a home run, and had to stay in. Like, Clark Schmidt got out of the inning before, after the bases were loaded, right? Remember, he gets that ground ball double play, gets out of the inning,
intentionally walked Yordan,
comes in, walks Alvarez, has the end of that inning. He doesn't have to come back out.
Well,
why did he come back out? He came back out, and then he gave out 2 home runs, and then Trevino came in.
Yeah. No, and then Trevino looked great, and then Montas, we get into all that, but more on Clark right now. Getting out of that double play, he got the intentional walk. Obviously, that made a ton of sense. You had
I was pissed when I thought they were going to pitch to him.
Pena, Pena had got a double the hit before, who had a ridiculous game, by the way. That kid's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's the first time I've seen him in a full game with my own eyes, and he's very good. So that gave me Glaber vibes in the 2019 Astros series against them. So, but yeah, he gets the double play off Tucker, and that's just kind of take him out there. You're playing with house money. That was one of a few situations where we got out of a situation kind of unscathed, where we really shouldn't have. They had first and second in the first inning. They got the obvious run in the second inning, but we got out of a few pickles there. Obviously, I like the first inning and the fifth inning there, and relatively unscathed. So it just feels like a silly move.
He also didn't look great.
No, he didn't look great in the last series. In the last series either. He has. I don't have the stats in front of me, but what it feels like, because he faced 5 batters.
Yeah, he gave up 6 runs, 10 hits the last series in 4 innings or something.
He has 10 batters faced, and he's given up 8 runs. It's just not great. I mean, that's.
Wait, we're talking about Verlander or JMO? Sorry,
I'm talking about Clark Schmidt.
I was talking about
his last outing and this outing. He's given up 4 runs. I'll look at the numbers later, but not a lot.
Home run.
Not a lot of batters faced and a lot of runs given up. So more so of a reason why you shouldn't have thrown him back out there. Albeit it's against the bottom half of the order, but the bottom half of the order was what gave us trouble last night.
So bottom of the order, good against righties. Sort of made sense, I guess, to bring him back up. You have Trevino. Where's Domingo? If he's supposed to give you length, when else are you going to need length, if not now? When the bullpen isn't rested and JMO gives you He gave us what, 4? 4 points. He probably should have only given 4. He shouldn't have gone out for the 5th. So say Herman comes in a clean 5th inning, then he gives you 3 innings, and you get to the back half of the bullpen in a tie game. If that's not his situation, what is?
Right. Let's play a game right now. Who would you rather have than Montas in that spot? Because in that very spot, the guy who hasn't pitched since early September came in a winnable game. There's 2 runs. I mean, that just made no sense. They came in what, the 7th inning? There's so much baseball left, and he came in. So who would you rather have on the Yankees roster than Montas in that spot?
So obviously, realistically, who could have came in?
I'm going to go down the list. Yes, who should have came in?
Yeah, but it's just Herman. That's it.
I mean, I would have
because everyone else wasn't ready yet.
What do you mean wasn't ready?
Like, you're not going to throw Holmes, Wandy, Loaiziga.
Why not?
Castro through the 9th. Because Wandy has thrown each of the last 5 games. You're losing by 3 runs. That's not their situation anyway. I mean, I would have seen Herman there.
They were losing by 2
other
at the
option
time.
Is Weiser.
I was going to say,
losing by 3.
Can I just play the game? Can I play the game? This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to just name names and you say yes or no real quick.
Sure.
Just jumping the gun on me.
Well, half of them weren't available is the point.
Damon understood the assignment. They were available. They could go 1 inning. Okay. I mean, you already answered the questions, but Montas, would you rather Greg Weiser? This is what I was going to do. I'd probably say yes over Montas.
I don't know about Weiser.
In a 2-run game. I think that one's pushing it, but you started with that, so I led with that. I don't know. I don't see why Loaiziga can't come in. They are ready. They could definitely go. They had
I don't know.
I
get
the day off
that,
in between.
though.
It would be day 2 in a row. The only person that I could honestly see was not really ready to pitch was Wandy because he threw in every fucking game.
Well,
in the
but that's not Loaiziga's like, if we were up 2 runs, maybe they push Loaiziga, but why push him when you're down?
Because you keep it close. They did this, they would do the same thing with all of their top guys. Yesterday, 2 days ago, the Guardians did that with all of their guys. They were down. I mean, yeah, it's a winner.
That's a whole different situation.
That's the whole thing.
That game's a whole different situation.
That was the reason that we thought this game was not going to be in good shape, is because a lot of the bullpen wasn't available unless it's an emergency, and this wasn't an emergency to me. So I don't see Wandy, Holmes, or
I would have preferred Castro in there earlier than he came in.
And he threw the 9th, so it's kind of mute like that. Like that was probably the plan. If he didn't give you 2, was to have him go in afterwards. But I see what you're saying. I would have been cool with that too.
I wanted to keep it close before it blew up like that to give your offense a chance to tie it back up. And when the game's closer than that is, maybe they tie the game up and then it's a whole different ball game. And then you could bring in Loaiziga, then you could bring in whoever else you want to close.
I truly don't think Boone had any intentions of winning this game. And I think as soon as we went down, then they're kind of just like, all right, now let's kind of rest our bullpen arms for game 2, because there's just that move right there makes no sense. And unless there's some grand plan for Domingo to come in game 2 or have some like spot, I don't even know what the plan is for him anymore, but there's no other reason why Clark Schmidt comes in out for another game, unless another inning, unless Boone's just kind of tossing this game up as a loss already before it's even over.
Well, Clark, I do like Clark Schmidt, but he should never be in a game. He should be in the games we're down by a ton. He's the innings eater, I think, in this playoffs. That's his only role.
No, but here's the thing. They're basically saying Herman's the innings eater by not putting him into a somewhat high leverage situation, because they brought Schmidt into a leverage situation. There was a man on second. They knew he was going to walk him. So that's man on first and second, 1 out. He walked the bases loaded, but he got out of that. And so if he doesn't come out for that next inning, we're talking about him as the man.
I don't have the sour taste in my mouth.
That's not really his fault, in my opinion. He got thrown into a bad spot.
Agreed. And you did say like you name it your dog. Murph is getting a new dog, and he said to us in our group chat, my new dog is going to be named Clark.
After he got the double play, and then he comes out and should not be coming out after that. I know he can stretch across multiple innings, but you didn't have to. That's one other reason that you could have brought in Trevino there. Then you could have brought in Castro, and then if you're really in a giving yourself a chance game, then maybe bring in Loaiziga or maybe bring in Holmes if you really need to. But I still think Herman should have been that first stopgap to begin with. I agree. I don't know. I thought it was mismanaged.
I think just like the fact that I'm looking at the TV, watching the game, and saying like, "Oh, Clark doesn't have his stuff today," and then like that to me, like that's not like that's not something that you need to have like a baseball mind for. He clearly could not find the zone, and he's
Yeah, I mean,
walking
he came
people, and
in-
there's no reason to bring him back out.
He got lucky with the double play. Like he didn't wiggle his way out of
That was
that.
a hard hit
it was
ball.
it was a good pitch, but he rolled over on it. Like it was just a good pitch, but that was probably the only good pitch he had the entire inning.
And listen, you can be lucky, and we'll take it, but that's no
Yeah, I'll
reason to bring
take
him
it,
back
but
out.
like take
That's
the
where you take your luck and run. Yeah,
exactly take your success, take your luck, and just run, and don't bring it back out, and switch it up a little bit. But the fact that I think after that, Boone was already kind of I don't know, in this mindset of, all right, that worked. Let's kind of like play with some house money here, and he flew back in his face.
the other thing I want to talk about. Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Where
no.
were you going with it?
You go for it. We'll go to
I think
next.
the other place that we blew the game was in the.
Me and Murph did the book,
Was
by
it
the way.
the-
That's why he's
was it
referring
the
back
third?
to his book.
Yeah,
this is
was it
the most
inning?
prepared Murph's been all year.
Like by a landslide. Yeah, when it was bases loaded and 2 Ks in a row. Yeah, the third
Donaldson.
inning. Donaldson, thank you.
I was gonna go to that. So speaking
and
of,
and then Carpenter.
yeah,
That was
So-
bad. Or second and third, sorry.
a lot of missed opportunities. Donaldson, just to start, I mean, he had first and second, and then he had second and third. He had 2 strikeouts, just 2 enormous strikeouts. Just looked lifeless. The first one was just like he just waved the bat at it. Like first inning, that's a huge spot to just put some runs on the board and just step on their throats early. We did it the next inning when Bader hits the home run, but I mean,
No, Bader was the inning before. This is after that. This is a tie
I'm talking
game.
about the first strikeout, and then I'm talking about the second strikeout. He did it in both innings, and it's just
Right.
the missed opportunities with Donaldson. It's just he looked so bad, and he did 3 strikeouts before he was swapped out for Peraza. And
Well, no, he worked the walk, and then Peraza came in.
He can't start today.
No, he can't.
I'm trying to. Does anyone have his playoff stats open right now for this year?
0.
He had
like-
2 hits, or no, maybe 4 hits in the Guardian series.
Either way, it's
But
bad.
still,
But
like under 200 and striking out.
like I'm I hate to put the whole game on one player and one at bat, but you have second and third and 1 out, and you strike out on 3 pitches. And that's literally the worst thing you can do in that situation. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't even close. He wasn't even close.
So it's not just, yes, it's absolutely him, but I think more so the conversation, and I think the main conversation for today, since let's just wash away yesterday. Like we said, let's just chalk it up to we were supposed to lose that game. I hate that, but we were. And then we're going to steal one hopefully tomorrow with, who's on the mound tomorrow? Sevy?
Sevy.
Okay, tonight. I mean, we're recording this on Thursday, so tonight we have Sevy on the mound. I'm liking that. I don't even care who they have. They probably have like Garcia or who's the other guy they have?
I believe it's going to be Valdez.
Valdez, yeah. So Framber Valdez, very good pitcher. It's going to be a good matchup. We have a lot of the big arms in the bullpen ready to go today, so we're not out before the game even starts like we were yesterday. It seems it sucks because it was a winnable game. But back to the 2 players that I think that could change this lineup, or the lineup could change around them, I should say, is Matt Carpenter and Donaldson. Carpenter looked like I was excited to get Carpenter in the lineup, and I think he looked like a player who did not play for the last 2 months, and that's perfectly fine. Like that's not a fault of his own. He was thrown into the playoff series, and he is rusty, and rightfully so.
Where do you pull him then? Though, what's his leash realistically?
I'm not saying not throw him out there. I'm saying keep an eye on it because this is a tough area to just to shake off the rust. I don't know if we could do that, and I think potentially I was gonna say instead of having Stanton in the left field because he obviously looked rusty in left field too. He missed that.
You know what?
That ball in left field. I would say move him to DH.
Are you talking about the double in the first inning?
Yes, he misplayed that completely.
Yes, he misplayed it, but that's not an easy play by any means, and he made up for it. I think he had a lot of balls hit out that way, and that one where he ran right into the wall, like I didn't expect him to make that play. I know most left fielders
better.
do,
Yeah, that first play wasn't great, but again, Mercer, that's a tough play, but he did make some good plays out there. He looked better than I thought he was going to look. I'll put it that way.
I'm more so saying shift him to DH, not because of that one play, but because of the fact that we potentially need to get Carpenter out of the DH spot.
Well, and you need to get Donaldson out there too. So I think what we're going to see is IKF's probably going to play third. He won a Gold Glove at third.
Peraz
I don't
is
know
gonna
why
play
they
short.
stuck him at shortstop. Peraz is going to play short, and then I'm fine seeing Cabrera in left field. I know everyone else is. I don't see any reason for Cabrera to be on the bench tomorrow, and that makes the most sense to slot him in there.
Yeah, I mean, Cabrera had a tough series last series. I mean, it's just at this point, there's a lot of players with not a lot of playoff experience or very rusty in one way or another. So it's kind of like picking and choosing your battles.
But Cabrera did more than
the lineup here. So
nobody did well.
I know. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's kind of just picking and choosing the lesser of two evils and hope that one person shakes off the rest or gets hot. And
Cabrera did more than Donaldson last series.
Yeah, he had a home run. That's it. But yeah, he did.
That's it. Yeah, that's. I mean,
Exactly.
that's all Judge did too.
I know. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's why I'm saying
That's the problem.
Nobody
hit over 300 in the last series. And like you look at every other team, somebody's hitting like a weird 500 clip. Like the Yankees just don't have that. It's literally the home run ball. I forget what it was. I think it was like 19 out of 23 runs in the postseason have all been from the home run. And like I know that's how the Yankees play, and that's how this whole series is going to go because Houston does the same thing clearly. But
I know Harrison Bader has been like the postseason hero so far, but does he only have 4 hits? There's just 4 home runs that he has.
Yeah, maybe he is above 300.
Like, I don't even know. I think he just has 4 home runs and like 4 hits, 4 home runs.
I think so.
He
had a couple walks the other game, but yeah, one hit, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I mean, I think IKF just I don't know. I'm not happy.
Here's the thing. I'm not happy with him either. If he can play a decent third base and he can get his couple of hits here and there, those couple of hits are going to be more valuable now than they were in the regular season.
I feel like he has gotten a couple hits. At least the at-bats that I've been watching, like he got a hit last night. He's been having a couple ground balls through the middle that have been getting through.
His last at-bat looked awful.
It did, but so did everyone else's.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everyone else is kind of in the same boat.
Presley came and struck out 4 right in a row.
Yeah, I will say one thing. I know IKF's defense scares the shit out of me. Any ball hit his general direction, but when he did make a nice play when the broken bat came at him and he jumped over it.
That was kind of cool.
That was pretty sick.
He kind of just like it looked like that drill where it's like the football players, they have the netting and there's the squares. It's like the ladder, and he's like tiptoeing it to get over the bat. But that was a pretty sick play. I'll tip my cap to him. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be the lineup tonight. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. The only thing
Trevino's still catching.
Yes, I think Trevino's still gonna catch. I think the only thing that I don't think might change tonight is they might give Carpenter another day to see if he could figure it out.
I wouldn't hate that either.
I mean, dude, he faced Verlander. He faced some of the top pitchers. Neris looked nasty. Presley went in, and whoever the fuck that other guy was that apparently is just
Montero came out of nowhere from Seattle.
Yeah, so I can see them giving him another day, and I would prefer to see him have another day. I was excited to see him in the lineup, and I'm not ready to just shut him down because he did have 4 strikeouts, and that sucks, but he faced some of the best pitching in baseball, and Verlander looked virtually unhittable for the entire time. I mean, Verlander had 6 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts. 3 hits given up. But one person I wanted to talk about before we jump out of here. What?
I was just going to say, he could also come off the bench and still get his at-bat. Because if he's on the bench, he's the first bat off the bench.
I prefer him not to. I want him to get consistent at-bats because he needs to shake off the rust. If he's going to come off the bench in a pinch hit spot, he's just going to strike out.
But he's struck out 4 times last night in the lineup. And then at least he only strikes out once.
There's only one way to get – no, but he's never going to get – the rust off if he just has one pinch hit at bat versus continuous.
How do you know he's going to get the rust off now?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the only way to get the rust off is to give him consistent exposure versus the other way is to say,
he's not going to be in there tonight because isn't Valdez a lefty? Or am I making that up?
You're making that up. He's ready.
Are we sure?
You might not be making that up actually. I get him and Luis Garcia. That makes sense.
I also think that I also wouldn't be surprised
he's not
today.
In the lineup, then. No way.
Yeah. I also wouldn't be surprised if Stanton's still in left tonight.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't think he played that bad to take him out.
Although if Cabrera's not in the DH spot, Stanton will be. There's no reason.
Those two things, Damon, those two things are the same. It's the only reason why Stanton would come out of left is if Carpenter came out of the DH spot. Because you moved Stanton to the DH.
When this goes back to the Bronx, though, do we still put Stanton left?
That was
because
the
they're
question.
doing the
They
same
were
thing with
talking about
Alvarez that we are with Stanton. They're the same kind of. They're essentially the exact same, except Alvarez is substantially better. But in the field, like same deal. They're playing it the same way. He doesn't always play left.
Well, they were saying that because Yankee Stadium is a much tougher. Like the left field in Houston is potentially the easiest left field to play in baseball. So you kind of just don't have to do anything. It's like the Green Monster, but it's half the size. So you really
is it that much different at Yankee? Like it's not like Yankees Wrigley where it goes jets back or City where it's like those weird walls.
There is that weird alley in Houston that he kind of had to deal with a little bit. Maybe that's why he missed that first ball because he was getting close to it, so he was just not aware.
I mean, he didn't even miss, like he got a decent jump. It's just
it looked
worse than it was. It was still it's still a tough play to make.
I'm not saying take him out because of that. I'm saying give him one more game. But I think at Yankee Stadium, if it doesn't look, it's more like I said, it's about Carpenter. If Carpenter doesn't shakes off of the rust in the game tonight, I could see Stanton coming to the DH spot, and then we do that whole Cabrera and Peraza thing. So one person I want to talk about before we get out of here is Judge, because we talked about it last episode. He didn't have a great series, but he had 2 home runs. I'm not ready to say like I'm not ready to say like, oh my God, Judge is like he's playing terrible. Like what happened to Judge? This, that, the third. At a certain point. This is 6 games now in the playoffs. We need Triple Crown Judge back, meaning like we need him to do more of the singles and all that stuff. We need him to just put bat on ball, and because he was our entire offense for the entirety of the last month of the season, and right now it just looks like Rizzo and Bader, and we need Judge to be setting the table, and like I don't know if he's pressing or not, and I'm not willing to say I'm concerned yet, but I'm thinking about it. Like the playoffs are short. He needs to figure it out quick, and it's just this team moves as he moves, and we need him so bad. And he has 2 solo shots, but like Bob Costas said, like he this isn't how Judge has been playing for the remainder of the regular season, and we just need that guy who he gets 3 hits a night. Like where is that guy? That guy was a person 2 weeks ago. So we just need the person who can work the counts, but like we need him to just. I know he's trying, but I'm just saying if that guy comes back alive, I am a little concerned that he's not going to turn it around in one series and just become that guy again.
The approach is different because he's getting pitched to different than he was the last month of the season, and so you're talking about rust. Not that it's rust, but he's got to change his approach because they're changing their approach when they're facing him. So the good thing for him is that I think Stanton's looks good. He had a single and a double yesterday. He's putting good bat on ball, at least. He's the only one who didn't strike out yesterday, I think. So, and then we already mentioned Rizzo and Bader. So depending where they go in the lineup, I think Judge has the protection that he's needed, essentially. It's there. He's not the be all end all at this point, but he gets on base better than anybody does. And then behind you, Rizzo and Stanton are the ones hitting home runs at this point, and Bader. And the home run is quite literally twice as cool when there's someone on base. And so I need to see him get on base more than I need him to have power at this point. Power, great, wonderful, but get on base.
I mean, the fact that we won the Cleveland series really without Judge being MVP Judge says a lot. And I think that just like if we get him going, that's just like taking the team to a whole nother level. I mean, the MVP, like calling Judge MVP and saying that like, okay, like this Yankees team is nothing without him is really showing right now, because when he's not doing anything and he's not at his best, the team is just falling right behind him. But I'm telling you, if we can get him going, I think he's just like the momentum shift for everybody else to get it going too.
Yeah, we won we won 3 games in the last series. He homered in 2 of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's no surprise that when he does well, the rest of the team does well too.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Do you move Bader up to the leadoff spot or Rizzo? Because Rizzo's been getting on more than anybody. We need somebody to be on base. I don't know if Gleyber is.
I kind of like Bader in the bottom half of the lineup. I don't know. I think he's been like the only guy actually like producing somewhat in the bottom half, and I don't really want to change that if he's like doing that already.
I feel like
I think you could move him up to 6, maybe, but it's either going to be 6 or 1, and I don't know if I'm ready to see him lead off. Right. So, like, yeah, bump him up a little bit.
I do like 6 because I remember when I was watching last night, and it was when Donaldson just struck out, so second and third, Carpenter was up with 2 outs, and I saw Bader on deck, and I was like, wow, I really wish Bader was up right now. Even though I was rooting for Carpenter, obviously, to get it going, but I was really hoping Bader was up in that situation.
So Rizzo led off a lot this year, and the only person with the thing with Bader, like we just mentioned at the top of the show, has 4 hits this postseason. They're all home runs. That I don't necessarily think he should be the leadoff hitter. I was just saying because he is more of a stereotypical leadoff hitter than we've had because he runs fast and he's right now hitting very well. So I was just saying, put him in the leadoff spot potentially. I think Rizzo would be the better choice there because he has led off for a lot of the season. He works great at bats. He's up in that box. He got hit last night. Like his on base percentage is very high. He homered. He was on base. He had 2 walks last night, a strikeout and a home run. Like I think that, and that's not a new thing. He's been doing that for the entire postseason and the entire season. So. And he has been, the Yankees have shown the commitment to play him at that leadoff spot. And I think, honestly, we should just flip Rizzo and Glaber and then maybe move Bader up. I would do Rizzo, Judge, Glaber, Stanton, Donaldson, Bader, Carpenter.
Donaldson?
So, no, not Donaldson. I meant more so the first 4, and then I moved Bader up 1. Donaldson was just, I read the paper, but I'm just saying.
No, that's fair. I think that Rizzo is a good choice to lead off, though, because he is, he's not the best hitter on the Yankees, but he's just the most veteran hitter on the Yankees. Like the approach he takes, he stands close, he gets his hit by pitches, he gets his walks. But if you watch how much he chokes up with 2 strikes, it's like such a fundamental nerd kind of thing to say, but I feel like good things happen when he's down 2 strikes and he's the only one. Like everyone else is down to 2 strikes and like, oh shit, here it comes.
He has the best approach throughout his entire at bat. Like
I think
he makes the most adjustments throughout his at bats than anybody else.
Like Donaldson was not choking up. I noticed it. Donaldson was still swinging like hacking.
His swing gets longer when he gets down in the count.
Right, and he's trying to be a hero. And Rizzo's not that Donaldson hasn't been in the playoffs before, but Rizzo just like he knows how to hit in these situations. And I feel like you lead him off, get somebody on for Judge.
He knows what needs to get done and doesn't try and do too much.
Exactly,
and that's his mentality. That's just who he is.
He's the only person that struck out once. But he struck out once last night. He's the only person to do that, I think.
Rizzo, Judge, Stanton are the only ones to not strike out twice. Judge struck out once. Rizzo struck out once. Stanton didn't strike out.
Good for Stanton.
Not that he's not accustomed to striking out. But.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the number one thing that can't happen is the strikeouts. And it wasn't just a hot Verlander. Verlander had 11, which is a lot. But Verlander wasn't even pitching that great, in my opinion.
I was about to say that. We had him on the ropes early.
I was about to say that. Like that's one of the more frustrating things to me. It's like the first 2 innings, he had 40+ pitches. Like that right there. You need to keep that going. Like as a team, you need to kind of collectively be like, all right, we need to see more pitches and get this guy out early. And they just didn't. And he threw 7 innings after that. Like how the fuck do you have
6.
40 pitches?
Well, he had his curveball look good, but he also threw, I think it was definitely Donaldson, and I can't remember if it was the second or third at bat, but it was an 87 mile an hour like slider right down the middle, and he swung through it. I was like, with runners on, so I think it was his second at bat, and I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Another thing too,
Judge had one too a little bit, but
I don't know if it was just because he started aiming where the ump was calling him, and I'm not one of those people who's going to tell you the ump was bad last night. There was the calls. There were some calls, but like he was calling it both ways, and it wasn't like egregiously outside the zone. It was painting in the black. It was slightly off the plate, and
also Maldonado's framing.
He's an unbelievable framer. Like you're going to see that a lot this series because we have Maldonado behind the plate and Trevino behind the plate, probably the 2 best framers in baseball. So
dude,
I'm not upset about that.
Pitches that were like very far outside look like strikes.
Yeah. Well, but a lot of people were freaking out about the ones that were like painting the black and slightly off the plate on the inside. Like you can't really get that mad about it. And it's Verlander. I do think he gets more calls than most because of who he is. So
because of Maldonado, I think.
And because
I
it's
really do
Justin
think
Verlander.
it's Maldonado though.
I know.
More than anything.
Yeah, I'm moving past that. I'm saying yes, Maldonado plus is Justin Verlander. But one thing I think he started just pitching to that high strike, but he was hanging those the curveballs. He was just like touching the top of the zone. It was slightly above with that curveball. I feel like that's not a good pitch. I mean, he's like painting the top, which like good aim, I guess, but like to a major league hitter, hanging that looping curveball at the top of the zone. I guess they're not going to offer at it because it looks like it's way out of the zone and it drops to the top. But like, I just feel like he kept going to that. I feel like that was kind of silly and they should have made him pay on that. But I don't know. I guess it really looks like it's over your head and then it's just kind of, he's trying to drop it to the top of the zone. So anywho, anything else you guys want to talk about before we get to watch tonight's game?
It's the biggest game of the series tonight.
Yeah,
Need to win 2 and 3.
Must win tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean every game is a must win, but specifically,
I mean you have to take one of the first 2 in Houston. We didn't take last night.
Yeah, I mean this is the one. This is the one that we if we went, we should have done that. We should have been like 1 through 7. We know we had our series predictions, but like go. Game
I said this
game.
in our last episode that we need to win 2 out of the first 3.
Yeah, I mean we got to steal one in Houston, which is my least favorite thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
because
like we had to take one, and yesterday was like a false hope. Like the game was close, and we like kind of thought we could steal one. The game one would have been fucking sick, but now we lost that one, and we thought we were gonna lose it. Like tonight's the absolute must win.
Yeah, we're gonna be at the game, and everybody at Murph because he's in the Great North, but we're gonna be at the game on Saturday. It's gonna be so fun. I hope it's 1-1 because that would, me going into that series will feel so much more confident, obviously, than down 2. But I just feel
I'll
like
be at the
vibes are gonna be
Tavern
high.
in Glens Falls.
The odds will be very high on Saturday.
If you're around the Bullpen Tavern, go hit up Murph. If you're around the Bronx, go hit us up. We'll be at probably like Billy's or Stan's before or something like that. But anywho, that was your game 1 recap. Let's see if we can turn it around, and man, I hope so. See you guys later.